What's up guys, and Funape here. Now recently I actually had, well, somewhat recently I guess, I started One Piece. And I gotta say, One Piece was really good. Like, compared to my original thoughts on One Piece, it was pretty good. And it's actually currently my third favourite anime of all time. I've only just gotten to the 2-year time skip as of recording this currently. So, I thought I'd go over my top 10 favourite characters from One Piece so far. As I said, this is up until the 2-year time skip, so for all I know, my favourite characters could change around from when I watch more One Piece. So, this could change, and if it does, I'll make another video going over an updated version. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below if you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. What are some of your favourite One Piece characters? If you think I misranked any of the characters on my list, and if you have any video suggestions for the future, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. So without further ado, let's get into the video! At number 10, we have Blackbeard. Now, Blackbeard definitely was an absolute badass. Like, he's also funny as hell. Like, to me, it's kind of it's sort of like if Luffy was a bad guy. I don't know if that's the best way to describe Blackbeard, but that's probably the best that I could come up with. He is probably Luffy, but an evil version and better. I'm also a really big fan of Blackbeard's devil fruit powers. Like, the dark fruit allows him to control darkness, and somehow he's able to steal devil fruit powers. I don't know if that has something to do with his own devil fruit powers, or if it has something to do with maybe a special tool that he uses. I don't know. I'm not sure if any of us knows, but heyo. I love Blackbeard. He's funny, he's mysterious, and his powers are absolutely GOAT. I'm a big fan that how he started it as, you know, someone who mocks Luffy for not liking cherry pies, and then mocked him for liking a drink when he didn't like it. And then he had a massive fight between the two, and then told Nami about how important dreams are. And yeah, I thought it was absolutely brilliant, that speech. That speech about dreams, that was a good one. And then he turned out to be an absolute prick. Like, murdering his own crewmate just to steal the dark fruit. And became one of the 7 warlords. Just because he managed to take Ace away. Like, man, that guy is an absolute GOAT. Cannot get enough of the guy. At number 9, we have Shanks. Now, I don't know too much about Shanks, because he hasn't really appeared too many times in the show. And as far as I've been told, he doesn't really appear much in the show in general. So, the information I had is limited, but that doesn't change the fact that he is badass. I was a really big fan the first time we saw Shanks. Like, he came across as someone who was nice and respectful, but also at the same time a bit too laid back. But then, when Luffy got kidnapped, Shanks literally turned on beast mode, and one of his crew members, like, shot a guy at point blank range, and they all just stood there and act like they didn't give a fuck. Now that was badass. Plus, the way he also was willing to sacrifice his life to save Luffy from the Sea King, that was pretty badass. Even though he lost an arm in the process, yeah, it still shows that he is dedicated to Luffy. Even though that price did cost him an arm and a leg. Actually, no, scratch that. Just an arm. Plus, I also went to see One Piece Film Red when it came out in cinema over in the UK. And oh my god, Shanks was absolutely badass in that movie. I loved when he unleashed his Conqueror's Haki on the entire Marine Force. That was absolutely sick. And it shows that Shanks can be soft, but also an absolute badass. At number 8, we have Crocodile. Crocodile is by far my favourite villain from One Piece so far. That guy is just absolutely badass as hell. During the somewhat early stages of One Piece, I did not get into it as much as other people. Then when the Alabasta saga came around, I started to slowly get more attached to One Piece. And the Alabasta saga was a big contribution to that. But the biggest contribution was definitely Crocodile, because his whole team was really well thought out. I also am a big fan of Crocodile himself because his design is absolutely sick. Like, if you know me, I'm also really into Disney, and one of my favourite Disney movies is Peter Pan. And recently, I actually was in a pantomime, and I was in Peter Pan. And I was Captain Hook. So I got a special attachment to both Peter Pan and Captain Hook. And since Crocodile is basically an anime version of Captain Hook, that's kind of where it like resonates from, you know. I also find Crocodile's Devil Fruit power very interesting, because his Devil Fruit power to me is kind of like a double-edged sword. It's basically one of the strongest Devil Fruits I've seen so far, but at the same time, it can be easily countered, because not only are Devil Fruit users weak to water or getting thrown into the sea, this guy's practically weak against all forms of liquid, as shown in the Alabasta arc, where Luffy took advantage of his bleeding and literally beat the crap out of Crocodile with his bloody fist and feet. So that is quite interesting, because to me, that basically shows that his Devil Fruit power is a double-edged sword. But still, his character as a whole, absolutely GOAT. At number 7, we have Aokiji. Now, this guy is just straight up fucking badass. I cannot get enough of him. He is absolutely GOAT. In terms of powers, I don't think I've seen any other anime character use ice powers as well as Aokiji. Like, this guy can just obliterate pretty much anything. Like, he can make a weapon, I thought it was badass how he can make weapons out of ice, and they're just as sharp as any sort of weapon. Like, he picks up a few blades of grass, throws it in the air, and turns it into a sword. That was just badass. I also found it quite cool how he saved Nico Robin from getting annihilated while, her hometown was getting burnt alive. Still, it was just absolutely cool to see that Aokiji can be badass, but also has a soft side, even though he's cold-hearted. I also really love Aokiji's fight scenes. Like, Aokiji is just a brilliant fighter. Cannot get enough of the guy. Anytime Aokiji comes in for a fight, you know that shit's gonna go down. Because that motherfucker will come in and rip your ass apart. Mate, I just cannot get enough of this guy. He is absolutely badass. At number 6, we have Mihawk. This guy is just straight up badass. I cannot get enough of this guy. I want this guy to pop up more often. Like, he doesn't pop up enough in One Piece, and he doesn't show off his badassness enough in fights. We need more of this guy. I am a big fan of swordsmen in anime, as you can probably tell with this Demon Slayer poster currently behind me. And Dracula Mihawk has got to be one of the greatest swordsman characters that I've ever seen in anime. That guy is just straight up badass. Plus, I'm also a big fan of, like, anti-hero vigilante type characters, similar to Venom. I really, really like that. I find them absolutely badass. And Dracula Mihawk is a perfect example of that. I was literally jaw-dropped, shooken up when I saw his fight against Zorro. I was on the edge of my seat. My full attention was on that fight. Every single significant little detail. It was straight up GOAT. I cannot get enough of that fight. And I cannot get enough of Dracula Mihawk. Honestly, I really wanted to see more of this guy. More fights. More badassness. More of him being a dick. I wanted to see more of this guy. Like, I just cannot get enough of Dracula Mihawk. He is by far one of the best characters in One Piece. At number 5, we have Whitebeard. Now this guy just straight up badass. I cannot get enough of this guy. He is just absolutely GOAT. Like, I really resonate with this guy because he is a pirate, but he also has some really good moral ground. But he also can be a bit of a dick as well. It's like he's a dick with good moral ground, and he also has a good side. Like, it's like he's 3 different types of characters melded into one, and it works so well. Whitebeard is just an absolute GOAT. Like, every scene that he's in, he is just absolutely amazing. Like, I'm also a massive fan of his Devil Fruit powers. Like, I believe in the dub it's called the Tremor Fruit. I can't remember if it's the Tremor Fruit or the Quake Fruit. Like, I'm watching it in dub because I cannot watch anything in sub, no matter what it is. But I do really like his Devil Fruit powers. Every scene that he's in using his Devil Fruit powers, he's just a bloody animal. Like, he almost destroyed the Marineford with only, like, 2 punches. And I don't think he was even going all out. Like, if he was probably going all out, he would probably easily destroy the Marineford as well as many other different places. Hell, for all I know, he could destroy the entire world if he really wanted to. He is just an absolute badass. Love his powers. Love his morals. I love how he is like a father figure to his pirate crew, and he considers his entire pirate crew his family. I really like that. He is just an absolute GOAT. At number 4, we have Ace. If you know me well, I really like it when characters use fire abilities. And when it comes to fire abilities, Ace uses his fire abilities really, really well. Every scene that he's in, especially every fight scene that he's in, he uses his powers so well. And also really, really badassly. Not only is Ace badass, I love his backstory. Like, he is the son of Gold Rogers. And he had a really bad upbringing. Like, both his parents were dead. He was orphaned, and he had a really bad upbringing. He was thrown into a family of criminals, got into fights a lot, and he was probably a stone throws away from being thrown into his own prison when he was in his hometown. Still, I cannot understand why. To be honest with you, he had every right to be a villain, and he wasn't a villain. He was probably one of the greatest One Piece characters ever. I can't believe he died. And I knew he was going to die. Like, previously, I did know that he was going to die, but even though I knew that, I still felt the emotions. Like, it hit me right there. I don't know why that happened. I saw it coming, but I felt the emotions. I don't know why. I mean, I didn't cry. That's the thing about me. For some reason, anime just can't make me cry. It has come very close. Like, there were 2 times where an anime did almost make me cry. And I really wanted this scene to make me cry. I really did! But I couldn't. Still, this is by far one of the greatest characters in One Piece. And I'm sure the entire One Piece community agrees with me that Ace is by far one of the greatest characters in One Piece. And now it's time for the top 3 favourite characters from One Piece. I'm sure that quite a large amount of people will know some of the characters that could potentially be in the top 3. But I want to see if you're right or you're wrong. So, in 3rd place, we have Nami. Now, Nami, she's just a straight up funny as hell character. I don't like her because she's badass, I don't like her because she's powerful. I like her for her personality and her humour. Nami's backstory also really kicked my heart in the dick. Like, honestly, she also had every right to become a villain. But she didn't. Mate, honestly, she is an amazing character. I cannot get enough of Nami. Like, she may not be as physically powerful as someone like Luffy, Zorro, or Sanji, but she can be just as useful in a fight. Mainly as support, but she can also throw down one-on-one. And she definitely is not afraid to stick up for her friends. Also, I find it funny how she's obsessed with money. Like, I feel like she probably would marry a rich guy, steal his money, and leave the wedding ring behind. Because I feel like that's something she would do. Still, Nami is just a funny as hell character. Plus, there's 1 or 2 other reasons why I like her. If you catch my drift, hashtag wink wink. But yeah, honestly, Nami is such a great character. And I feel like a lot of people like her as well. Like, she is by far one of the greatest characters in One Piece. And number 2, we have Sanji. Sanji is just a big, fat mood. Like, I relate to Sanji so much because I am both a chef and I don't mind a bit of, you know, ladies. Even though I don't really like fighting using my legs, and I am completely against smoking, but I can relate to Sanji a lot. Sanji is by far one of the greatest characters in anime. Not just one of the greatest characters in One Piece, but one of the greatest characters in anime. And I feel like quite a lot of people in the anime community can see where I'm coming from. Like, Sanji is just absolutely amazing. Like, his fights are great, his personality, funny as hell. I also love the fact that he's a cook, because I'm actually in the middle of doing a catering course in order to potentially become a chef. And I feel like if I do some recipes in my practical exams, so similar to the way Sanji does, I feel like I could go really far in terms of cooking. So I do really respect Sanji for that. Plus, I'm also really a fan of like funny characters. Like, sort of similar to Master Roshi. I like him for his personality when it comes to certain thoughts. Yeah. And I love Sanji because of that as well. He is just straight up funny as hell. Every time he has a nosebleed moment, shall we say, I laugh my arse off. He's just so funny. I mean, sometimes it can get a bit repetitive, but at the same time, they do it enough to make it funny. Like, they don't overdo it. And honestly, I really like it for that. Honestly, Sanji has got to be one of the greatest anime characters of all time. But there's still one other character that we haven't gone over. Before I go over my number 1 placement, I actually wanted to give some honourable mentions. Those being Kizaru, Law, Lucci, Kid, Garp, Rayleigh, and Kuma. They all have the potential of getting into the top 10, but I like the other characters a tad more. But if I see more of the characters, maybe they'll climb up the list a bit? Who knows? But anyway, let's get to the final member. If you're a true One Piece fan, I'm sure you can guess where I'm going with this. But my number one favourite character from One Piece is Zorro. I'm sorry, I know this is generic as hell, but I don't care. I love Zorro. Zorro is a big fat mood on steroids. He is just absolutely funny as f***. Like, honestly, I could literally watch an entire, series of just Zorro. Like, if they decided to make a separate manga based around only Zorro, I would buy the manga and read that crap. Honestly, Zorro is just absolutely amazing. His fights are amazing, characteristics funny as hell, and he's just an absolute bloody badass. As you already saw from this video, I really like swordsman characters. And honestly, Zorro is just probably the best, or at least one of the best, swordsman characters that I've ever seen in One Piece, and in anime in general. Like, he's just so funny. Like, I really like how dumb he is. Like, he'll just sit around like, whatever. He's just so funny. Plus, I also find it funny how he always gets lost. Mate, like, he could honestly get lost inside of a paper bag. It's so funny. Honestly, I cannot get enough of Zorro. Like, his fights are amazing, funny as hell, and I also really like how he uses his three sword style. And he manages to beat people who use more swords than him. Like, the octopus fishman, I can't remember his name, I'm so sorry. But he beat him when he uses 6 swords. Or that guy from CP9 who uses 2 swords and both his legs and calls it the 4 sword style. I also find it really cool that he can use something called a 9 sword style. Even though I'm not sure if that's supposed to be an illusion or if that's him using some sort of power. I don't know what it is, but it's still really interesting. Plus, it also hit me hard when he lost his smile after losing to Mihawk. That could not have been easy, since he was a smiley, happy, laughable character, and then he goes into some sort of badass, emotionless guy. And honestly, that is quite an interesting character development, if you ask me. And honestly, this is by far the greatest One Piece character of all time. Like, half the time, I feel like he's more of a main character than Luffy. Probably because I like Zorro more than Luffy, and to be honest with you, I don't really like Luffy that much. But still, Zorro's by far the best One Piece character ever. And there we go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below if you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. What are some of your favourite One Piece characters? If you think I missed a character, and if you have any video suggestions for the future, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Also, guys, please don't forget to subscribe if you like my content, because I've noticed a lot of people watch my content and aren't subscribed. Like, if you like what I do, please, I beg you, subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. And also don't forget, when I hit 400 subscribers, I will be doing 4 crazy dares that you guys suggest to me. You can leave it in the comments, or I'll do a post on my Instagram story, and then you can leave as many dares as you want. Then I'll randomize the dares and pick the 4 dares that it lands on. And I'm not going to back out of them. Plus, you guys have no limits to what the dares can do. As long as you don't make me spend a crap ton of money. That's kind of where I draw the line. And as long as it's legal too. Other than that, you've got free range to do what you want. Just please help me out. It doesn't take much to subscribe. Did you enjoy the video as much as I did making it? If you did, be sure to give it a massive thumbs up, comment down below, share the video with a friend, and if you're new, subscribe to my channel. It's been Inferno today. Okay, that's all from me, so till the next time, this is Inferno, signing off. Bye!